I always like to start by saying thank you. We've gotten a ton of comments, both seen and unseen, on a lot of the recent blogs, and I just want to say thank you for that. I love when you comment. Just getting over the flu, so I took a little bit longer to answer, but I always try to answer them as quickly as I can. If you go to Twitter under Infidelity Scars, you can find me there. I can probably be a little bit more responsive there. It's also a little bit easier to answer there, so you can direct message me on Twitter if you like. But I want to answer some questions and some thoughts today with the blog about, do the unfaithful have reminders? Because a lot of time goes into the study and the treatment and the understanding of how the betrayed deals with reminders and triggers. But over the years, I've been asked a lot of times of, does the unfaithful have reminders? The short, quick, honest answer is, regrettably, yes, we do. We have reminders and we have triggers. If there was any significant affair that either you or your spouse has had, if they say that there aren't reminders and triggers or intrusive thoughts, they're probably lying, and they're probably lying to protect you, the betrayed. But the fact is, you can't have a significant relationship that was physical or emotional, and it had to be one or the other, right, without it triggering something in you as you try and detox from the affair partner. So the unfaithful does have reminders. When we moved to Texas, one of the first things I did was sell my favorite car. To this day, I loved it more than any car. It was just a phenomenal car. But we moved here, and I wanted to heal, Samantha wanted to heal, the car had to go. I'll never forget the salesman saying, "Why are you selling this thing?" And it helped me in the negotiations, but I said, "Oh, we had a family tragedy and I need to get rid of this car." And he said, "Oh, okay, well that makes sense." And so the car was gone, and I miss the car. I don't miss what happened in the car, but I do miss it. So we, the unfaithful, have reminders and triggers like you, the betrayed rather, for a good year to maybe a year and a half, 2 years. But here's some of the problems is that early on, Samantha would say, "Are you thinking about her?" And I would say, "No, but now I am." And so there was a point where a lot of betrayed spouses are sometimes thinking about the affair partner more than you, the unfaithful, are. And so you have to be careful, because there's this point where the betrayed is really struggling with comparison and thoughts of the affair partner, and there's moments where sometimes the betrayed will say, "Well, are you thinking about her now?" And "You're thinking about her, aren't you?" And it's like they are transmitting their pain to the unfaithful, and legitimately, the unfaithful isn't thinking about their affair partner. But if you, the betrayed, kind of point your finger, stab at them, or provoke them, well then, yeah, they will start thinking about their affair partner. In all honesty, the times that I thought about my affair partner or had triggers or had reminders was when I was not with Samantha. Even during sex, I was not thinking about my affair partner. I didn't have a lot of triggers and all of that and reminders then. Now, Samantha did, and that was probably one of the biggest struggles that we had to overcome. Quite frankly, that just was. I had to really have a specific protocol from Rick, as did Samantha, if we were starting to be intimate or were being intimate and those triggers and reminders came. Let me just tell you, if you ever want to ruin physical intimacy with your spouse, have those reminders and triggers come. I could do a million blogs on that, and if you want to know some things that we did, you can message me and I'll give you some insight. Now, inevitably, I have had betrayed spouses say to me, in response to when I say, yes, they do have reminders, they'll say, "I knew it! I knew they were thinking about their affair partner. They don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. I know it. No, no, no. No, no, no. Let me equate it for you, is that there's times when the betrayed, they're harassed by reminders and triggers and intrusive thoughts, but yet, as an unfaithful, we can say, it's so hard, it's so difficult. Why are they so paralyzed? Well, the fact is, they're suffering, but yet they're still with you. So if they didn't want to be with you, quite frankly, they'd kick you out or divorce or separate or what have you. But they're still choosing to be with you, though they're in pain. It's kind of the same way for the unfaithful. They're dealing with reminders and triggers, and they're probably not telling you about it. And that's normal. But yet, you can't take the assaulting approach that says, I knew that you were thinking about her. I knew that you wanted to be with her. No, no, no. They may be dealing with reminders and triggers and lingering thoughts, but they're still making an effort, at least hopefully. They are making an effort to be with you. They are making an effort to connect with you. They are trying to push through the fog and the veneer of the residue and the detoxing from their affair. So careful with how you approach that segue. Here's a few things that I did. Number one is I had an outlet. One of my mentors, if I was struggling, I would call him and say, man, I'm thinking about, her. And I'll never forget, he said to me, I'm so glad that you're being honest with me, because if you told me you were not thinking about her, I would call you a liar. And at that point, I knew I could trust him and I could depend upon him, and he was really smart. And I would call him when I struggled, or I would text him, and he would be hard on me. He would be gracious when I needed it. He just would coach me through it. Number two is I had a process, and I had a strategy that Rick and this mentor laid out for me to help me understand that it was normal to have these reminders, that it wasn't my mind trying to play tricks on me to say, you really want to be with her, and you're just with your wife because it's the thing to do. No, he helped me see the truth and helped me understand that it was normal to have these reminders and triggers, but that where I needed to be and where I truly wanted to be was with my spouse. And I did want to be with Samantha, but there was some heavy seasons, and I had to process through those very carefully. Number three, he taught me the detox process. And that's just, it can't be said any more clear, is that when you go from this heavy relationship to nothing, to no contact, there is a detoxification from the text messages to the phone calls to the connections that you had, and that takes time, and that's okay, and that's normal. It's very common that in the heat of battle, the betrayed will say, well, are you thinking about her now? And I'll never forget the day I said this, and I only said it once, is I wasn't thinking about my affair partner, but my reply to Samantha was, I am now. Ooh, I think it went like this. I am now. Whoa. Okay, I'm not. That was dodging things being thrown at me. So sarcasm probably only works in this little tiny area over here. Because the truth is, Samantha was really struggling, and she wanted to know if I was thinking about her. And I legitimately wasn't. But my answer was not compassion, my answer was hostility and defensiveness, and it just didn't work. So you have to be careful in how you respond. And betrayed, I have to tell you, they're probably not thinking about their affair partner as much as you think, and they're probably thinking about their affair partner when they're not with you, but you have to check yourself and make sure that you are not transmitting your pain by trying to bludgeon them or stab them with, you're thinking about her, aren't you? Aren't you? You're thinking, aren't you? I've seen people do that, and it doesn't work. And I know it's hard, so I'm not shaming you for it, but I'm just telling you it doesn't work.